I got a day off in my long stretch of work week, so right now I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple of updates and answer some emails and do some shout outs, so stay tuned. Hello, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. Thank you for joining me on my fireside chat. I'm going to be answering some emails. I've gotten a lot of emails, most likely due to that contest I'm running. And if you haven't heard yet, I am running this contest. You have until the end of November to have a chance to win. What I'm doing is I'm giving away a free brand new laptop computer, and to have your chance to be eligible to win, you have to watch as many videos on my channel as possible and leave a comment on those videos, and I'll select a winner from there by whomever has seen the most and commented the most. Okay, on another note, update, wildfires. This is October 1st, and we still have a major wildfire burning west of us. It's several miles away, so we're not threatened by the wildfire at all, so we'll see how that goes. It's the Klondike fire, and about 4 days ago it grew by 7,300 acres overnight. But yesterday we had a big storm move through, and that storm brought lots of rain for the couple of hours, and with it brought lots of lightning, so there's some more fires that sparked. And when I got home last night, my son was packing up because he also does wildland firefighting. And so Jeremy took off first thing this morning to go to fire camp. So we don't know what direction he went to, but the company that he signed up with called him into action. So he's out fighting fires on this October 1st morning. And my scheduled day today is going to be dealing with finishing the shed today. And then, because Friday we've got to start the move from the storage shed down in town and move my mother-in-law's stuff out to a shed up here at the farm. So let's get into answering some of these comments on my YouTube channel. The last one I got was the Man Chan. Asked me, is this shoe nice in the future? I'm afraid I'm not familiar with shoe nice, but I'll go look it up to see if this is a compliment or a curse. I'm not sure. We'll see. Pandora Gonzalez asked me, she's watching my videos and competing for the competition of winning a free laptop, but one of her questions was, I have a repair, do-it-yourself repair, and I do my own repairs on my computers, and I learn as I go. And so I purchased some hard drives, and usually my hard drives I purchase. She asked, where do you order your hard drives from? I just go down to the big box store. It's Best Buy, and I just go down there and purchase a hard drive, and that's all I do. I suppose you can order them online, wherever you can find them. eBay is a good source to start with. And I think Walmart.com has a resource to be able to order some also. Pandora also asked me regarding a video. I've been challenged. One of my viewers and a channel I'm subscribed to did a challenge for me, and I went ahead and rose to the challenge. She asked me if do I get challenged often. No, that was the only challenge I have ever received. And then I went ahead and challenged Rain Country, and I believe I challenged Doug and Stacy Homestead also. I passed the challenges on to them. So, no. And then Bo B asked me, what state and county was this made in, referring to my epic video that went viral. It's getting a lot of hits, and that's titled How a Poor Man Can Buy Cheap Property. I live in Southern Oregon. That's it. These programs are available everywhere, and if you watch the video How a Poor Man Can Buy Cheap Property, at the bottom of the video in the subject line there is some links to some other videos with a lot of other information and web links that you can go to be able to find cheap properties in your area. Perhaps not all states have this available, but most states do, and I've been looking periodically and I'm finding cheap property everywhere. I just found a city lot nearby for $400, and so that's an example. Things are still available out there that are cheap, but you do have to be patient because these things aren't always available. Just keep looking throughout the year. It might take a couple of years for you to find something, but hang in there. It's possible. A viewer by the name of Candy Facet, I hope I didn't slaughter your name. Anyway, on installing my on-demand water heater for my house, she was questioning how to remove the cap off to get the filter out to be able to flush the system. I don't know how. I don't know that there was a filter in there. I'll have to double check to figure it out, and if there is, I'll certainly make a video out of it. The only thing that I'm aware of is with a special valve system that I purchased and put on mine. I flush it with white apple cider vinegar, which is an acid base, and it cleans out the system and decalcifies it and descales it. Because over a period of time, if you have scaling in your water, especially with heat in the water heater, it'll build up and cause your water flow to be reduced significantly. So you'd want to run a treatment on about once a year to descale it, but it depends on how much minerals you have in your water system. Some people have to do it more frequently. So check out those videos on installing my on-demand water heater. It was pretty cool. I really like the system. I even installed an on-demand water heater on my big fifth wheel. Gab mentioned is a statement, farming isn't a hobby, and then she puts in a quoted from Marty Rainey. Well, that's Marty Rainey's opinion. I had the pleasure of meeting Marty Rainey and having him at my home for 3 weeks last year when we were filming that episode of Homestead Rescue. We're actually featured in Season 2, Episode 2. We're also in a couple of other episodes. I'm not sure where they're at, but our episode is actually, from what I understand from our producer, being re-edited to add more updated film to it, especially with a big fire we just had nearby the farm. So we're in reruns. But to answer, farming isn't a hobby, define a hobby. This is to Gab. Define a hobby, and I think I defined it pretty good on what is a hobby farm and defining a hobby farm. This is a homestead, but my homestead is my hobby because I so thoroughly enjoy what I'm doing. Even though, yes, it can be labor intensive, it still is a hobby because I enjoy it. I enjoy the labor. I enjoy every part of it. So when a person is restoring an antique vintage automobile, that is a hobby. It also involves a lot of intensive labor and stuff. So I think this person is listening too much to what Marty Rainey's opinions is. And Marty Rainey isn't always, he's off the cuff with some of his statements. And but he sees it as being probably true to him, and that homesteading or farming is labor intensive, and he probably doesn't see it as the same level of enjoyment as others would who chose this simply for pure enjoyment in life, and some part out of necessity. I've always dreamed of living on a farm. So yes, this to me, in my definition, is a hobby, and that's why I call it the hobby farm, a modern homestead. So thanks for that comment, Gab, and I hope this really puts the point down that I personally don't care what Marty Rainey says. It's just how I feel about it, and that's what's important, because it's not about him, it's about me. And a viewer said called Forzainter. I'm not sure which country you're in. He just mentioned he saw us on TV. I wouldn't doubt that, because sometimes our shows airs on Animal Planet, and I do still do some videography and upload it to London to the producer, and they send it on to Discovery Channel and whatever they do with it, I don't know. But yeah, our shows are in reruns. They've been in reruns for 2 years now, since it premiered in, I believe, July of 2017, and we filmed the show January 2017. And yeah, I get emails from all over the world. We get a lot of fans in Brazil, and some in Australia and Holland and Germany and Sweden. I have a regular fan in Sweden. I talk back and forth with him. And some fans, they write in whatever language you're writing in, and I have to use Google Translator to translate what they're saying, and then translate it back to them with my comment and compliment. But yeah, you see us on TV, and we're going to be forever in reruns, I guess. That's the way it is when you do a reality show like that. Down East Waves commented on, she watched a video I produced called "There's an Elephant in My Neighborhood." And I think this is more tongue-in-cheek. She says, "Awesome, so neat, what a cutie she is. Thanks for sharing. Do you hear from her from time to time?" Well, the elephant's name is Susie. And we do have an elephant in the neighborhood. We also have, I discovered there's 2 elephants up there now. One is an African elephant, one is an Asian elephant, and the difference between the African and Asian is the size of their ears. The African elephant is the only acting African elephant in the nation, and it just so happened that 2 weeks ago a bunch of Hollywood trucks showed up, and they were filming a big commercial over there with that elephant. And I was told it was a Chase commercial. I don't know if it's Chase credit card, Chase bank, but they think it was a Chase commercial. Anyway, yeah, they have a rhinoceros over there. The rhino's name is Spike. You could Google on YouTube and type in Spike and Jackie Chan, and you can see a video that they shot over there with Jackie Chan and Spike the rhino. On Save the Rhino thing. So they're always filming something over there, I found out. And this guy moved in about 2 years ago. He bought this ranch. It's called Serengeti Ranches, and he's an animal trainer for Hollywood productions and TV commercials. I did hear many rumors that this guy, we used to be an animal handler for Michael Jackson's estate at Neverland, and some of these animals are from Michael Jackson's estate. I believe one of the elephants is. That's what I keep hearing. I haven't validated it yet. I know he did have the monkey up there that played Ross's pet monkey on the TV sitcom Friends, and he has a pelican up there that is in a Disney movie called The Dolphin's Tale, and the only thing I can see from the road when I drive by is his horses, beautiful horses. He's got a big 2-hump camel up there that I can see from the road, and some, what are those? I think they're alpacas. They're either llamas or alpacas. I think those are the alpacas I could see running in herd with the camel. And then I can see the elephants, and that's all I can see from the actual road. I haven't seen anything else unless I actually get on this property, but it's all gated and no trespassing and stuff. Okay, and then here's a shout out and a comment on USNERDOC. So it comes out to be United States Navy ER Doc. And he, just complimented me on a video of the shed I'm putting together. He said, nicely done. Interesting how I met him. I was actually over videographing the Ramsey Canyon fire, and I was researching it, and then I come across his website because he was up there filming the Ramsey Canyon fire also. Turned out we're both big YouTubers. We have channels. We each have channels, and we found out we're neighbors. And so I was able to drive down and meet him and his lovely wife and brother a couple days ago. And they have a farm that they're called Mountain View Ranch is the name of their ranch that they're developing down the road. And so you'll see more on that. We're going to do, he asked if we could do a collaboration between the two channels, and we're trying to come up with something right now. And I have some ideas, though. When I see him again, I'll talk to him about those. But yeah, check out his channel. It's USNERDOC. Him and his wife go around and do actual speaking engagements on preparedness, which is really appropriate to get information from like an ER doctor and being prepared. Because one of the things that is in the forefront of all of our minds here in the Pacific Northwest is that big 9.0 earthquake that they keep telling us we're going to get. And if that happens, that will knock out a lot of services and probably prevent some products and services from getting to our area. So store shelves would go empty, etc. So we want to be as prepared as possible to be able to help out our family and our neighbors if and when that event happens. Here's a comment from a new viewer I haven't noticed on here before, and they're called Optimistically Skeptical. And they asked a question, was that the geese in the background when I was filming the shed, building the flooring for the shed I'm working on right now. Yes, you'll find the geese and the ducks in the background of virtually almost all of my films, because they all have something to say in virtually every film. As you notice, you could hear them in the background. Unless I'm offset and I'm out in the field somewhere filming, then you can't hear them. And they also asked, or made a comment of having space and property like that, they would have poured their own footing, making the system more permanent. And I would have done the same thing. I would have just poured a cement slab and put the shed on the slab. But this build it's meant to be temporary, because in the future I plan on building a wraparound porch, and I had other plans for that area where I'm putting the shed right now. But I don't have space for the shed. And eventually all the RVs will disappear and all the other sheds will disappear. So those are all meant to be temporary for the homestead. I don't intend to keep them there for the long term. But for now, we'll have that shed there for a couple years in that way. That's why I built it the way I did, to be able to disassemble and fold away someplace and relocate or sell or whatever comes up in the future. We don't know. And finally, my last comment to answer is Karen Catalano was watching my review on the Little Giant incubators on incubating eggs, and she asked, do you think it's better to use an incubator versus the chicken? Well, the chicken's always better. Doing it naturally is always better, but sometimes that isn't the case. Yeah, I prefer the chicken over the incubator anytime. And as far as the duck goes, this last year my duck is so lazy, but she was smart. She was brilliant. She didn't want to hatch her own eggs, so she went and laid her eggs in the goose nest, and the goose hatched the ducklings. So I ended up with 4 hatchling ducklings. 2 of them died, but I had 2 survives now. Now I have 4 ducks. I have 2 drakes and 2 ducks. So I have 2 pair of ducks to be able to help regenerate my flock next year. That's it for today on what's happening here on the homestead and the fireside chat with answering some of your questions. Please keep viewing, leaving comments. I'll get to answering all these comments here pretty quick. I am working long hours and many days in a row, and this is one of my days off I have. And then I'll be able to do, I work 2 more days after today, and then I get a week off, and I'll be able to answer some more of your comments and also produce some more videos because I have some other activities I'm doing in, off, and around the homestead. So stay tuned for those. I'm Jerry Hansen, your host here at Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I want to thank you guys for showing up, and please feel free to view all of my videos. I have a lot of different topics all relating to homesteading and saving money. You can follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Reddit, Google+, and Blogger. We'll see you guys again in more videos. Bye-bye.